In the upcoming days, Mars, Mercury, and the North Node will all be conjunct. On the 13th, Mars will be conjunct the North Node. On the 15th, Mercury Retrograde will be conjuncting Mars. And then on the 17th, Mercury will be conjunct the North Node. And on the 20th, Mercury will station direct. So destiny is really talking and it's going to be loud. So, of course, the North Node is about our karmic destiny. It's like leaning into uncharted territory. It can feel a little bit uncomfortable, and then Mars is going to make it pretty loud, honestly. And the Mars North Node conjunction will happen at 8 degrees, which is a Scorpio degree. Of course, Mars is about passion, energy, but also war and conflict, and the North Node is pretty destined. So, with the Scorpio degree, things can get rather intense, honestly. And I think, especially for the US, they have no idea what they've gotten themselves into. That is also strongly indicated in astrology here, because they're now trying to talk and negotiate about a ceasefire, but that is not going to happen. I'm going to say more, because when Aries season kicks off, we ain't seen nothing yet. We are about to enter a very difficult time, and the month of April, especially the window between the 15th until the 20th, will be especially intense. We're going to see a 7 planetary stellium in the sign of Aries, which is about war and conflict. And now we're already going to see a very big uptick in everything that is happening in the world, unfortunately. Of course, because some leaders on the world stage are behaving rather out of control. That is like serious understatement, of course. But as I already warned in January in my 2026 forecast, that whenever Saturn entered Aries, people who would have been like blindly starting these big wars would get punished immensely. And we are about to see that quite strongly, honestly. So Saturn refrains, restricts, it limits, and it's the Lord of Karma. It is like a very strict teacher. And if you're behaving like an Aries baby, then you're going to hit the wall in some kind of way. So Mars conjunct the North Node will also be a very important time about like the numbers or like the death toll in regards to war. Scorpio is like 8 degrees is a Scorpio degree. That is about intensity. And we know they have been lying about the death toll. And with Mercury retrograde, we're going to see some very big revelations in regards to that as well. So we're going to dive into the presentation head first, because I do not have a lot of time today, as my astrology readings will be starting soon. And if you want to book in a personalized astrology session, you'll find a link for that in the description box below. So here, this is like the timeline from the 13th until the 17th. All of these planets, and also the North Node, which is of course not a planet, but still all of them are going to be conjuncting back to back. So, of course, the North Node, it is a very big karmic activation point. It does represent like our collective direction of destiny. And it can feel like evolution is pulling us forward in a rather intense way, with the North Node being at 8 degrees, Scorpio degree. And Mars is, of course, the planet of action, conflict, but also courage. And when it meets this specific point, all the events can feel very fated and also urgent. We might need to take action upon something very fast. Mars is about being fast. So the fact that it happens in the sign of Pisces, the lessons, they are not about like control or force. We actually need to release that. We need to like surrender and accept and trust, and do a very big trustful here, you guys, in the next couple of weeks. Really tap into our compassion and spiritual awareness, and being very mindful not to get stuck in fear. There's going to be like on a collective level very big spiritual turning points right now, with Mercury retrograde here conjuncting all of this energy. A lot of situations are going to be like exposed in regards to deception and illusion and all of the spiritual bypassing of people who have like a very big high position in society and how they have been abusing their power. On a personal level, people are going to be acting way more on their deep emotional impulses and also desires. And that is definitely then all together combined, also going to like increase the focus on spiritual themes and how to like fight and stand up for the underdog. And there's going to be a lot of lies exposed in regards to what they try to make us believe in all of these wars that are going on right now. Because for a fact, we do know that like Bibi Netanyahu, he has been like saying for the last couple of years that in 2 weeks Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb, blah blah blah. If you like look at the compilations, how much this man has been saying it, and like without a single proof. Like last year during another Mars square Uranus, the Trump administration said that they they directed a missile at their nuclear facilities, and they said, oh, this is such a big victory. We've put them like back in time over like 20 years of progress. And then now we're like not a year later, only a year later, it's like the same excuse over and over again. And we know that the Rothschilds are a very big part of this plan as well. And yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to see the truth for what it really is. And he's been lying. He's been spiritually bypassing us. That is just like very, very clear right now. So I'm not going to like hold back on that any longer. He really sacrificed the American economy. And that is going to be very, very obvious in the next few months as well. So yeah, it's all indicated in the astrology. So some people are saying like, yeah, well, Astrid, isn't this the way that it's supposed to be? Well, that is another topic that is open for discussion, but definitely it's not because some intense planetary aspects happen that we need to tap into the lower frequency of that. So no, I do not agree on that statement at all, actually. The Mercury retrograde, I warned you guys, it would expose a lot of lies, a lot of like these false narratives, false beliefs. Pisces in the lower manifestation is about like lies. And that being exposed now by the Mercury retrograde. And that is going to see a very big uptick now within the next couple of days here with these important conjunctions all happening like back to back, one after another. So, yeah. On a personal level, there is going to be a way stronger urge to like act on our intuition, Pisces, and we're going to feel very much, we're going to feel pulling like forward on like a new spiritual path. And it is also like letting go of like conflict and resentments. And Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars, planet of war in Pisces, global themes. Pisces rules over gas and oil, and also over naval bases, routines, like shipping lanes, maritime conflicts, all of that. And like there's like not a lot of footage from Israel, from all of the US American bases that are getting destroyed. It is very difficult to like, see it. And like the satellites that were being able to look at it, they're now all blacked out. So we do not know what's going on, but they're definitely trying to hide something. That is for sure. And we're gonna see or know the full truth whenever Mercury stations back direct on the 20th of March. And then also the sun will ingress in the sign of Aries. We're going to see the equinox. We're going to see the sun conjunct Neptune, the sun conjunct Saturn. That is going to be a big deal, you guys. That the 0 degrees of Aries is a world point axis. So sun is solar figures, leaders, CEOs, presidents, heads of state. Yeah, when it hits Neptune, Neptune is delusion, confusion. Saturn then is a reality check, karma. Yeah, this is gonna be a very big time the next month, you guys. I'm not like overreacting. It is what it is, and we're gonna need to get through it, but definitely it's going to be intense. So I'm already warning you, maybe prepare a little bit, get some extra food, get some extra water, maybe get a satellite phone, because during Aries season, we're also going to see Mercury ingressing into Aries. It will also conjunct Neptune, conjunct Saturn. There might be a blackout. There might be lack of communication. There might be boots on the ground. There might be a lot of intensity, you guys. If you're already like living in a place where there is an ongoing conflict, I would like strongly advise you to maybe go visit some family or friends. Just like go to a place where things are safer. If you want to travel in Aries during Aries season, I do not know how that's going to play out. We're going to see more problems with airplanes and airports being attacked. And I do not know if you're going to get home, honestly. Of course, it depends on your own natal chart and also on the specific countries that you're about to visit or want to visit. But still, take it into account that, yeah, we're gonna see like the next rollout of the plan that was like seeded in 2020, as now on the 28th of March, Saturn and Pluto are gonna make their first exact sextile. So yeah, I know, pretty intense stuff, you guys, and I'm preparing a whole Aries workshop to give you some more advice and how to like get through all of it. And we're gonna look at a lot of different countries and how that's gonna play out. So yeah, we need to really choose faith over fear the next 6 weeks. And Mars in Pisces, it wants action, but like Mars in Pisces is more about going with the flow, and Pisces really asks us to like move with the current of life rather than like trying to fight against it. It's not going to work. But this is really a very big moment where destiny is going to start like moving a lot of the chess pieces. And yeah, I think a lot of people are not ready for what's about to come, and also not those who started this war. That is not going to turn out well for them. I'm like restating that very, very strongly here. So here we have the first chart that I've included for today. That is going to be on the 13th, the Mars North Node conjunction. So yeah, very powerful, destined moment here. Very fated, very urgent happenings, very catalytic. And there's like, it's like the universe is really pressing like an acceleration button on the timeline right now. And all the actions that we will be taking now is going to really shape our future in a very, very strong way. And Pisces is this very intuitive. It is spirituality, like the most spiritually attuned sign of the entire zodiac. But Mars is very fiery and it wants to act very quickly and decisively. And Mars in Pisces operates more through like intuition and emotional awareness, and we need to really connect with our spirit guides. We're going to need some spiritual guidance in the next few weeks. And all the actions that we are taking right now, they are not meant to come from like pure logic or brute force, but they need to arise from like a deeper inner knowing. And people are going to feel very, very compelled to like take certain actions that are based on of feelings that they cannot fully explain. That is rather normal right now. So listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. If you feel like, okay, I need to go, or I need to prepare, or I need to stock up on some extra food and water and maybe a satellite phone and all of that. And blah, oh my God. Like, Mercury is still retrograde, you guys. Bear with me. But having a backup generator is also going to be of major importance, because the next 2 years we are going to see blackouts with the solar eclipses in Aquarius. It could definitely be also happening during this upcoming Aries season. So yeah, this is a very big karmic alignment, and all the actions and impulses that get triggered right now, they might not make full sense until Mercury turns direct on the 20th. And 8 degrees, I've already said it is a Scorpio degree. It adds another very deep layer of meaning to the Pisces conjunction. It is also like double water, and Mars is fire, and water and fire, they do not combine well, you guys. So Scorpio energy, it always deals with like depth and transformation and intensity and hidden truths, power dynamics, abuse of power, emotional intensity. So yeah, when a Scorpio degree now activates this whole Mars Pisces transit with the North Node and Mercury, it's adding so much more weight into the mix, honestly. We might see a very big event here in which a lot of soldiers, because that belongs to Mars, Mars is soldiers, are gonna like cross over into the unseen realms, Pisces. Something, yeah, beneath the surface is being stirred. A lot of secrets are gonna surface. That is gonna trigger so much, like, it's gonna trigger so much truth, you guys. And we are gonna need to be confronting on a lot of feelings that we have been like previously been avoiding around what's happening right now. A lot of people think that is not gonna last very long. Well, unfortunately, that is not gonna be the case. So yeah, the North Node, it always like directs the energy towards transformation, towards growth, and Pisces is like the soul. So the soul can recognize that something must change, and we need to take some kind of action, even if like the path forward isn't like fully visible yet. It is going to come, you guys. But it's also gonna like trigger emotional courage and really be willing to confront the uncomfortable truths right now. And by that also releasing old patterns, conditioning, and really move towards like a whole new way of living. But Mars is conflict and war. North Node is destiny. Mercury retrograde is also about like dealings and communication and contracts that got signed, and all of that is being like dissolved, reassessed, reviewed in Pisces on a global stage. In regards to gas, oil, and the war that's been going on in regards to that, that is like a very, very big key theme here that is going to get fully illuminated over the next few days. So yeah, prices are gonna like skyrocket, especially we see here Venus squaring off with Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter is homeland security, square to Venus. Venus is in Aries. Venus is about money. Aries is about war. We just had the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which does indicate regime change. But in Iran, they already chose like a new Ayatollah. So it's not going the way that they would like it to go. Maybe that's even a good thing, honestly. There are also a lot of lies about Iran, honestly. Yeah, I'm not gonna trigger I'm gonna try my best not to trigger too much people, but yeah, the more you look up people who really live there and who have family there, it's very interesting to check those people out and to look them up and listen to their story. Of course, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of competition and momentum and the feeling of like we are in this intense race and we can feel like we run out of time. That can definitely also be a feeling here, as everything gets like an acceleration right now. Some situations are really going to push people to make a very quick like decision, or maybe they're going to have to act upon something rather fast, or they're going to have to do something that they have been feeling within their soul for a very long time. It also says here that victory does not come from speed alone. It actually comes from like skillful alignment with like the forces that are already set in motion. And we're gonna see so many like covert tactics, you guys. Pisces is about things being unseen, things hidden at night, things like things happening at night, things being hidden behind the scenes, lies, things getting lost, missing people. It's also about jails, mental asylums. Yeah, it's rather intense, this build up here. Pisces is also like the unseen realms, and I do massively believe in like this higher plan, and we're gonna need to do like a trust fall that everything is gonna become okay, because it will be. The whole stellium in Pisces trines Jupiter. Jupiter is higher wisdom. Jupiter is also part of the gods. Mercury is the messenger of the gods in the sign of Pisces, the unseen realms, like our spirit guides. They're going to guide us through all of this. I'm sure of it. And whenever the sun hits Neptune and Saturn, we might see a very, very big reckoning for one of the big world leaders, whether that's Bibi or other big world leaders. But definitely there's going to be a very, very big karmic repercussion. On the more positive side, I want to highlight that Saturn Neptune together at 0 degrees of Aries, we just like had the conjunction on the 20th of February. The sun, when it conjuncts, it's also going to highlight new strong men. Like look at Africa, look at Traoré, look at Sonko and Senegal and all of these countries that are really like, yeah, new young leaders stepping up, throwing out the neocons, really like fighting for their own like country and in a positive, healthy way to like support the people. And that is actually something very, very positive that has been going on. And maybe I need to highlight that a little bit more as well. Like Ibrahim Traoré, all the things he's been doing, like he's also like friends with Putin. I think that like is also some important things, or they do have a lot of respect for one another. And like, look at India. India is like shooting themselves in the foot right now because now they have to go back Russia for oil and gas and all of that, and they're gonna pay very high, a very big, like higher price now. There is a lot of like diplomatic agreements being massively changed right now, and I think in the long term, that's going to really be for the better. It's just like a very intense transitionary period that we need to go through right now. But definitely, I want to highlight you guys that there is a lot of hope. There is like a lot of people, young, new, strong leadership that is coming forward. And that is actually very, very positive. So it's not all bad. But definitely, what the Trump administration now kicked off, the whole world is really going to like... have to, yeah, everyone is like paying this bill. Everything is getting more expensive. Yeah, it is actually rather incredible that this is all happening. And if you look at his old tweets, how he has been like bashing Biden and also Obama and in regards to war, it's just like the spiritual bypass is getting illuminated very big during this time. Unfortunately, I wish I could share other things with you guys. Really gave it all the benefit of the doubt, but like not anymore. So all of people are waking up to the truth for sure. So, and I'm not saying he hasn't done positive things as well, because that is definitely the case. I'm just saying like this just illuminates a lot about how Israel is in control. So yeah. I wish that wasn't the case, you guys. But yeah, what do I have to say about it? I'm just like the goyim who needs to work and pay taxes for these PDF files, people. So yeah. All right, but we're gonna try to stay positive, you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Like maybe I am being a little bit too open. But still, yeah, there is going to be a very, very positive change that is going to come forward, especially after 2032. And I know that might sound like a very long time, but actually that isn't the case, because if you look back now at the whole seed that got planted in 2020, we are now already like 6 years past that. Like, can you believe it? Time is like increasing so fast, and it is like insane, honestly, how fast time is moving. So let's just wait another couple of years, the same time like we now waited since 2020, and then things are really going to start to move in a better direction. First, we need to go through the Uranus Saturn conjunction in Gemini by the end of 2000, or somewhere along like the year of 2032. Then things are really going to start to change. Then all of the like NATO and the UN and the US and a whole lot of other mundane charts have then also been going through their Uranus return. So that is going to indicate massive change to like, we are going into like the fourth turning right now. So if you look back at 84 years ago and all of the things that got like installed, and all of the things that got created also by like the Rothschilds, and like the reset that they also did, and like my God, I was almost gonna say like something very striking, but I need to be careful here on YouTube. But like, it's also becoming rather clear where like the German guy from back in the day during World War II, where he was actually fighting against. And there is massive truth being revealed about that right now as well. And a lot of people are starting to really see for what it truly is. And I'm not saying, I'm not like putting him on a pedestal, or like I'm not adoring him in any kind of way, no. But it makes sense, kind of, doesn't it? So, yeah. I do, however, strongly believe that a lot of the world leaders are corrupt. We are just living in this whole matrix that is based upon like the worship of Baal and Moloch. And unfortunately, it is what it is. We are still like in this last dying gasps of the age of Pisces. And we are still in a transition period to Aquarius, like the age of Aquarius, but still, yeah. If you look at the Kali Yuga and all of that, we are just in a very interesting period of time. So I'm glad to be here and to witness all of it. And we need to hold the light, hold the power. We need to really like press the acceleration button in the spiritual warrior that we all inherit deep inside. And it's all going to be okay. It's just going to be a couple of intense years that are now going to start to kick off. Yeah, if you look at like first Venezuela, then Mexico, but Iran, it's not going to be the same. Not at all. I think Iran has been waiting a very, very long time for what's happening right now, and they're really going to show the consequences of the actions that were taken by Bibi Netanyahu. So, yeah, maybe it just needs to happen in some kind of way. And hopefully something good is going to come from this. I really hope so. I know there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and it's definitely going to see, yeah, it's going to get bigger during Aries season. That is definitely for sure. So, yeah, detach. The biggest rebellion that we can do is to really like staying in our power, to not get fearful. It is all indicated by the astrology. It is a very big, necessary transition that we need to go through right now. But I know a lot of people are a bit fearful or scared, and I understand that, but just know that Aries, it is the warrior. Aries, it is fearless, and Saturn is building a whole new structure inside of all of our identities right now, and it's really about reclaiming our own power. And we're going to be surprised by how well we're going to be handling all of that. It is about really remembering, like, detach yourself from like the matrix and see it for what it is. It is like this whole system that is designed like the wheel of samsara, in which we are all trapped, and they're feeding off of our fearfulness. And the biggest rebellion is just like make some love, and it's like the best advice that I can give you guys. Unfortunately, I wish I could like say more, and of course I'm gonna be highlighting way more remedies during my Aries workshop, but Mars belongs to Aries. Mars is about desire. So Mars, when it gets frustrated, it gets angry, and then it starts to like just like blow or go off. Positive side of Aries is really like tapping into our warrior energy and to go manifest and go after the things that we want, taking action on our desire, sexuality, conquest. All of that is part of Aries and Mars as well. So we need to just like blow some steam in the sauna, in the gym, in the bedroom. All of that is going to help you massively to transmutate the darkness that they're like casting on Earth right now. So the biggest rebellion is not going out and fighting and protesting and being angry and calling people out. And of course, we need to call certain people out and definitely their behavior, but do it from a centered kind of space. Remain in balance. Do not get like overwhelmed or too triggered. And if a lot of the things right now, if it triggers you, then you might need to like make contact with your inner selves again and just like meditate, send positive frequencies into the like earth plane right now. All of people are expressing their anger, and I understand that, but express love, go into meditation, make contact with your guides, really trust and surrender. It's all going to pass, definitely. And there are a lot of beautiful things happening as well, that is for sure. So we need to put focus on that, because where our attention goes, it grows the situation. So make sure you are growing and manifesting and sending attention and energy towards the right places right now. You're doing like Mother Gaia a very big like pleasure with that. So you're helping her doing that. All right, so yeah, let's look at the next slide. This is Mars Mercury. That's going to happen on the 15th. And why I was like ranting on and on about just now with everything I said is because of this exact date. Because Mercury's communication, Mars brings like feistiness and aggression and conflict, and it's very blunt and very outspoken. So Mercury, Mars, communication, thoughts, information, it all turns that into an emotional battlefield. We're going to see so many heated conversations, so many people being angry, so many people really speaking out, just saying something in the heat of the moment and not being able to take it back. And with Pisces, it can leave like a scar or a mark on our soul. So be careful how you manage certain arguments in an upcoming week. Pisces can also be about past lives. So like past life arguments resurfacing, past life frustration surfacing, conflict. It is a spiritual war. Pisces is a sign of spirituality. Mars is war, conjunct the North Node, destiny. Saturn, Neptune are also connected to spiritual wars. So yeah, we're like full on in it right now. The past is like returning in a very weird kind of way. This is about like unfinished business in your personal life, but also on the world stage. So Pisces can add a lot of confusion and intuition. They can actually exist at the same time, and it's going to be a little bit more harder in the next few days to differentiate between all of that. So yeah, listen to your inner guidance. Do not go like react impulsively during this time. The danger here really lies in reactive communication, and that hurting a lot of people. The interesting part is that it happens at 10 degrees. And 10 degrees is a Capricorn degree. Capricorn, the government, structure, rules. People who decide what the rules are. If you then look at the Sabian symbol for this particular degree, I thought it was very interesting. So 10 degrees of 10 degrees is a Capricorn degree. It's going to be massive for like revelations and secrets being exposed from our government. 10 degrees on global warfare, covert tactics, Mercury retrograde, hidden, sealed, classified documents about war being highlighted, coming like to light, being exposed in a very big, dark kind of way. Scorpio degree, where Mercury is going to station direct again. And the Sabian symbol for 10 degrees of Capricorn. So for the Sabian symbol, we of course round up to 11 degrees. And 11 degrees is actually a man traveling a narrow path seeking illumination. Isn't that interesting, you guys? Man traveling a narrow path. Mars is about men, soldiers, warriors. And they're traveling a narrow path, you guys, and they're seeking illumination. Like, did you know that a lot of the US soldiers right now, when they cross one another, they salute one another and they say, "For Epstein." They're like, they know what's going on. And there's not a lot of sympathy for what's happening right now. Saturn is like refraining the urge to go to war and to fight for the home country. Not after everything that's exposed right now, you guys. It's gonna backfire massively. Yeah, so sorry for my intensity. I am, of course, an Aries myself. So yeah, I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling it all very, very strongly. And My moon is in Pisces. Mars is conjuncting it right now. I'm a little bit more triggered. I am a little bit more pissed off because a lot of people are still not seeing the truth. And that sometimes bothers me. Or right now, it bothers me a little bit more than other times because it's just like so easy to see right now. Yeah. More like confusion is gonna be less whenever Mercury stations direct. So yeah, the Capricorn degree, discipline within the fog of Pisces. Like a Capricorn degree, it is about karma, it is about time, it is about reality, it is about discipline, maturity, the truth, and cutting through the confusion in Pisces. So it adds such like unexpected dimension. Pisces is otherwise very fluid, but Capricorn is about like endurance and also the willingness to climb the difficult mountain and the difficult terrain in the pursuit of your goals. Spiritual insight right now, it is not simply given, it must be like pursued and earned through perseverance and effort and honesty and integrity. So the Sabian symbol here is actually quite meaningful. Man traveling these narrow paths, seeking illumination. A group of seekers right now. Seekers is like Pisces, soul searching, and a lot of people are like seeking right now. We need to navigate a rather difficult and constrained route towards understanding right now. So the path is narrow, not every option is available. Progress requires a lot of focus and careful navigation right now. It's like we need to like commit to the journey that is not like fully visible right now. The destination certainly isn't. So people are also gonna like realize that we cannot like pursue every possibility simultaneously. There's like a lot of timelines intersecting with one another right now, and it's just like a little bit like we need to really choose to direct our energy, Mars, to like a new direction, the North Node that is aligned with our deeper truth. So yeah, the mind can feel a little bit on fire, honestly. Mercury, Mars together. Mercury is our mind, how we process information. That is already quite exhausted with the Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Mars is going to activate that. It's going to make it emotionally charged. So yeah, a lot of like, it's like Mercury retrograde, the return of like unresolved debates with Mars here. And a lot of people are going to like be forced to reconsider the previous assumptions that they were making. So we need to re-examine something that already happened, and we get like full force ahead and like a green light from the universe in those regards. So it's going to give us somehow the implication of like a deeper understanding of why certain events have unfolded the way they have. So more clarity coming through. Also, so on the 13th, we see like an activation of destiny, and that brings forward movement. Then on the 15th, Mercury Mars forces a lot of reflection and confrontation with truth. And then on the, later on the 17th and also 20th, it will be more about revealing the meaning behind the events that unfolded. So that these are like the steps. First, actiony and destiny, like activation. Then there's mental confrontation and a re-evaluation. And then we're going to see Mercury going direct on the North Node. There will be more understanding and clarity. So the search for truth, it often requires navigating a lot of uncertainty. Yeah. Let's look at the next slide. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep ranting. So this here, Mercury North Node, Mercury is of course still retrograde, and look, the moon is like adding it's like joining the whole Pisces party. Oh, was that a confirmation and it's going to be important? I think so. So yeah, this is the day before a new moon in Pisces. So this is the devil day, you guys, a balsamic moon phase. That is always like the dark moon. It is difficult, you guys. This is going to be a difficult day. It is what it is. Surrender, meditate, frequency music, breath work, meditation therapy, soul retrieval work. Be careful with what you say and how you communicate, and recheck your emails, your phone calls. Do not sign a contract. Nope, nope, nope. That is not good energy here. So now Mercury meets the North Node, delivering this karmic message that we all need to hear. And on a personal level, we can really receive important information, and that is going to change like the entire direction of events. So on a collective, like global level, revelations in the media, Mercury rules the media, important global discussions about the warfare, about the gas prices, about oil and how they are manipulating all of it, and also like we're gonna, on a personal level, really have a conversation that shift our perspective. That can bring then like more realizations about our life direction, and really gaining more insights about why something has happened. It's about revisiting and realigning with destiny again. And then on the 20th, we can see Mercury going direct at 8 degrees, Scorpio degree in Pisces, a very confusion. It's a very confused sign. So yeah, the North Node is going to deliver the message for sure. So yeah, what is your spiritual path? What are you meant to release? Where are you meant to lean into your dharma right now? Where is your intuition guiding you? Destiny does not always like arrive through logic. Right here, it's gonna arrive through sound, frequencies, dreams, emotions, synchronicities. We're gonna see a lot of destined signs from the universe here, guys. It's like Mercury is the messenger of the gods within the sign of Pisces, the unseen realms, like the things we cannot see. Then at a Scorpio degree, intensity, our ancestors, our crossed over loved ones, people who are already like been through this transformation into the unseen realms. We can have a lot of like messages through our dreams from people who really care about us, who already like crossed over but are still here to guide us. And they're definitely going to like nudge us in the right direction. So trust, have faith, surrender. Also know that on the 20th of March, we see the equinox. The veil is getting extremely thin. It is a very big portal of manifestation. The sun will be on Neptune. We see this, the moon also in Aries. I'm going to talk it all through in the Aries workshop. This is going to be a very, very important day. So here we see a lot of planets in Aries, and we're going to see a return of that even being highlighted more strongly. And that is going to be like on the 15th of April. March the 20th, 15th of April are going to be connected somehow in a weird way. So really pay attention to that. Yeah. The universe is going to bring us messages, and the deeper current is really like the meaning behind it all is for us to move towards our destiny. So yeah, it is a rather important time. So how to work with it? Journal, meditate, walk by water, connect with your ancestors, connect with your family line, connect with your family members here, the people you connect to, like your connections. That is like the new currency, and it's gonna become more highlighted here during this time. And Jupiter just went direct, trining the entire Pisces stellium. So Jupiter, of course, can like explode or like amplify sometimes also the more negative threats, unfortunately. Luckily, here we see trine. Just know that while all of this happens, we have all these planets in Aries squaring off with Jupiter one by one. So Venus is going to be the first one. Then we're going to see the Sun. Then we're going to see Mercury. Then we're going to see Mars all squaring off with Jupiter during the upcoming Aries season. Pretty important stuff, you guys. The US is going to see a lot of military on the streets. That I'm quite sure about. So yeah, Jupiter, it is about homeland security. Focus on your own family. really maybe reconnect with family members you haven't seen from a long time. That is also very beneficial energy to use. But definitely journaling your messages, journaling the deeper questions, journaling about your destiny, your path forward, where you feel spiritually aligned. Also, Jupiter in Cancer is where do you feel safe, seen, heard, being cared for. It is about nurturing and that being amplified as well. So it's actually also very positive, more for our personal lives. We're going to see a very beautiful trine between Mars and Jupiter on the 22nd of March. On the 20th, it's already like palpable. On the 22nd, it will be exact. Jupiter trine Mars, these are really aspects to look forward to. And we're definitely going to see some kind of reverse within like military tactics and within military agreements and diplomatic agreements and all of that shifting rather intensely. And when it stations back direct, there can be like a whole reverse going on and how things have been playing out right now. So yeah, more on that later. Right now, we're going to start looking at the 12 signs. And of course, you can listen for your rising sign first. And then you can, of course, also listen for your moon sign. Sun sign. Oh my God, you guys. And if you have like a moon in Aries or Pisces, definitely Pisces, then you can listen for your moon sign as well. All right, let's start. All right, Aries, how is it going? Aries season is about to kick off on the 20th soon, so prepare for your birthday season. Things are going quite fast, don't you think? Of course, you're going to have this triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and a North Node in your 12th house. And of course, Mars is your chart ruler, Aries, so it's pretty significant for you guys. Have you been feeling it? I have been feeling it in my dreams. They're like way more active, for sure. And you're gonna feel it in a very like intense personal way, but more like what happens behind the scenes. It's more like within the subconscious, and that is getting very, very loud right now. The next chapter, it's not gonna be born through force, but through like a sacred retreat from all of the noise and let go over control. And the past for you is like returning in your dreams and within like these intuitive flashes and memories and private conversations, and something unfinished is really asking for closure right now. Maybe that's about like a fear that you outgrew. Maybe that's gonna rise again, not because you're going backward, but because you're like finally ready to face it with more consciousness. So it's gonna bring you like face to face with like the ways you have exhausted yourself, also trying to like manage life through willpower and will force alone. Aries energy knows very, very well how to move, fight, initiate, but Pisces in the 12th house activation here, it's also whether you are like, do you know how to release, how to trust, how to grieve, how to soften? All the old patterns in regards to like overworking and anxiety, hidden anger, and also self-sabotaging subconscious behaviors are going to become impossible to ignore. And it's okay if you feel a little bit more sad. You're actually realizing what has been draining you most, and you're being confronted with what you have been keeping like, or what you have been like carrying in silence. And that is like major highlighted right now. So if you feel some situations are draining, or even people, you need to like let it go. You're having like a massive spiritual awakening that's very destined. There can be like an ending happening in your life that's rather private. If you do therapy, you can have like massive breakthroughs, and healing. 12th house is healing. Maybe someone from the past is going to return to you, that is going to help you to understand your deeper emotional truth. Can even be someone from a past life. And if you're a female, it can definitely be a man from a past life that is destined to come back in. So yeah, feel your way through all of it. Engage with the fog. Do not try to conquer and fight it, Aries. The power now really lies in surrendering and being conscious to everything that is coming up. Do not be passive, but do not be on the attack either. Do not try to isolate yourself too much. Try to fight balance. Not every battle is actually won by pushing forward. Some are won by actually finally laying down your armor and surrendering right now. Your time to fight will come soon when Aries season kicks off. So good luck. We have Taurus and Moon rising. All right, Taurus. So you have this alignment in your 11th house. Mercury retrograde, Mars, and the North Node are all operating within your 11th, as long with the Sun as well. Along with the Sun, I meant. So the 11th is about like friendship, community, your shared dreams, your future that you're trying to build, what you like put on a table, what you add to society, networking events, gatherings, even groups of work can all be found in the 11th. It's like your social sphere. So Mars, North Node, Mercury, your destiny is being activated through like other people around you. Maybe you're gonna realize that some of the people around you are no longer like belonging or aligned within your next chapter, but Mercury retrograde adds also a very big karmic undertone here. It can bring up old friends, old collaborators, or like even hopes that you've abandoned or hopes that got dissolved from the past might be reignited in some kind of way here. It's rather positive. You might even revisit past dreams, old dreams that matter deeply to you, and maybe you left it behind because you thought it was over, or maybe you were afraid to grow into all of that, but now it's like being re-triggered in some kind of way. There can be some exposure of tension within like your groups and your friend groups, and between like your authentic belonging and performative belonging as well. Taurus, you really value stability within your relationships, but this period it can actually reveal who's loyal, who's not, where comfort has been replacing truth, where you've been in denial about certain people. The 11th house, and with Pisces on the cusp, it wants soul resonance. It wants like a soul, like-minded tribe. It's not just about convenience here. It's really about like the deeper spiritual truth within your friendships being massively destined and illuminated here. So Mars here is gonna like charge it up emotionally. Group dynamics are gonna intensify. Alliances are gonna shift. Friends from the past are gonna re-enter your life because they need some closure. If you've been excluded in some kind of way, if you've been disappointed, that is gonna be re-triggered in order for you to let that go, and maybe you're longing to be like fully understood by your people. Nourish your own soul, nourish your friends who are understanding, who are compassionate, but also like, yeah, you're gonna have some kind of important reconnection with a very meaningful friend from the past, and that can even in itself change your entire social cycle over the next few weeks. And some doors are going to reopen, others are going to be closing. Just know that not every door that gets reopened right now is meant to be walked through. You're really gonna have to use your intuition here. Yeah, who is walking beside you? Look more closely into those themes in the next few days. Good luck, Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, rising. All right, Gemini, you're gonna have this conjunction of Mercury retrograde, Mars, and the North Node in your 10th house, and that is rather important, Gemini, because you are, of course, ruled by Mercury. So your chart ruler is found within this conjunction. And the 10th house is about your career, vocation, your visibility, your life direction. And the story here is really unfolding through your career, through your public identity, your purpose, and how you shape your legacy. And something might be shifted in that. You're being summoned to step into a leadership role that embodies more compassion, more spirituality, more intuition. Use your intuition right now in regards to your career. It's speaking very, very loudly to you. Yeah, your ruler is retrograde in a larger sequence of these types of events. So you might need to wait for the full clarity until the 20th, but still something is going to be triggered. And yeah, you're like revisiting your former career path, rethinking your ambitions. You're maybe confronting like the gap between the life that you've built and actually the life that your soul wants to live here. And it's less about success, it's more about like alignment between your inner truth and how you want to like leave behind your legacy. So it's gonna stir deeper questions about like achievement and success and recognition, and you can even get like a very big push and force and drive within being exposed. You are way more visible right now, Gemini. Your boss can have like very big important news. There can be someone from the past who you worked with together arrive back into your life and share some very important things with you. You can even go back to a career you've already did before, and you're actually being drawn and pushed right now to new work that actually includes healing and more inspiring, or that feels more inspiring, where you can create more, where you maybe are a guide from other people as well. And it can definitely bring back like an old offer, a former employee, an earlier dream about your career. You're going to be like speaking up in some kind of regards within your career. You might need to speak up or stand up against your boss. Mars in the 10th can sometimes give a little bit confrontation with your boss or either your father figure, some kind of authority figure. That is possible here. You can really also use this time to rebrand your whole business and make it more feisty and more like spiritual warrior archetype for sure. So yeah, listen to your intuition and listen like to maybe a new calling beneath like your normal profession. Yeah, it needs to be fully rooted in like spiritual truth. So good luck, my dear Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have this triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the North Node in your 9th house. So of course, the 9th house, it is about higher learning, travel, education, your worldview, your belief system, philosophy, long distance travel. I've already probably mentioned that, but the 9th house is like the search for meaning. It's actually also the house of the teacher, but like higher knowledge. It's also about like publishing, marketing, all of that can also be found in the 9th, but definitely about spiritual exploration. And look, it trines your Sun, Moon, or Rising, and it trines Jupiter. I think, my dear Cancer, that you and also Scorpio are going to be, and Pisces also going to be one of the best signs to deal with this energy for sure, as it makes a flowing aspect towards your Sun, Moon, or Rising. So that indicates a lot of positive, good news, especially also on the 22nd, you guys. That is going to be a good date for you with Mars trining Jupiter. So yeah, you're feeling more called towards like studying something new, teaching, publishing, spiritual exploration, or just like simply a journey that expands your emotional and intellectual world. It can definitely also be like a shamanic journey or journeys through meditation. And yeah, the expansion you're seeing right now is intertwined with like revisiting a lot of your old beliefs, even past life beliefs, the things you once held to be true, teachers you once followed, gurus, questions that you thought were already settled are coming back up again, because like the old truths, they no longer fit this new version of you, with Jupiter expanding and amplifying so much more wisdom in you. So yeah, new truths are definitely emerging, but they're like, it's not happening in a linear way. It is like more emotional, more intuitive. So yeah, this is like about the big evolution within your inner compass, and it's like about intuitive, emotional memories. And it asks you whether your beliefs like still belong to you, or whether some of them were like inherited from your family, from culture, from even maybe fear. Pisces on the 9th house cusp, it is very mystical, and you have a very mystical and intuitive relationship with truth. It's like universal truth. This is of major importance for you. And Mars here can really give you like the push and the urge and the motivation and the energy to like eagerly leap into like new horizons, towards like broadening your horizons. Mercury retrograde here, it asks you to really pause and notice actually what your soul is trying to revisit before you move forward again on the 20th. So Can be like a conversation, a book, a course you haven't finished. Take it off of the shelf and like, yeah, wrap it up right now. It can become a very big catalysator, and there can be like a course or a book. Like, what I love to do, Cancer, is like whenever I have a lot of things in the ninth house, or even also the third house, I just like take a book and I close my eyes and I just like open it and ask a question, and then it's like answering my exact question. Like the page that you open the book, that is mostly like giving you the answers, and that can be quite strong. And look, because I'm now doing this, I was not planning on doing this, but like the pink dolphin came out. This is like one of the best cards of the entire deck. Celebration, fun, unbridled joy, open heart. This is so beautiful. So you get like an additional message, my dear Cancer. So yeah, universal truth, joy is trining Jupiter from the ninth house. If you go on a vacation after the 20th, that can also give you like a lot of destined connections overseas, long distance trips with people from a different cultural background than your own, that are going to help you to like illuminate your truth even more, and they can give you new insights for sure. So you need to soften enough to gain the deeper wisdom and to let it enter your mind. Spiritual guidance is also like gonna arrive at the exact right time. The ninth house is also very much about divine timing, definitely in the sign of Pisces. So yeah, it's about like intuition, soul recognition, synchronicities being massively highlighted here, Cancer. So enjoy that and good luck. You have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Leo, you are having this triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the North Node in your 8th. So the 8th, it is one of the most like psychologically demanding parts of the chart. And Mars conjunct the North Node here, it's definitely going to trigger profound transformation around trust, around vulnerability, sexuality, grief, power dynamics, shared finances. Mercury here, it's showing you that like the old entanglements and all the unresolved debts, unfinished business conversations about trust or buried fears are actually going to resurface in some kind of way. This is like not surface level, it is deep, and it's going to reveal where you like protected yourself too fiercely or too strongly, and maybe you prevented your way, maybe you prevented yourself in that way from like real intimacy or real change or real like exchange and healing and all of that. So look at yourself, like what happens when control is no longer enough to make you feel safe. You have such a big beautiful heart, you are ruled, like the heart belongs to Leo, and maybe now you're going to receive some kind of situation or conversation in which you're going to be tested to like really fully open up the heart. You are so loyal, but this might also like uncover where pride, self-protection, and also like fear of dependence has actually kept you isolated in very subtle ways. Or for others, it might also highlight where you've been too loyal and how other people are draining you on a financial, sexual, or emotional level. Something being revisited in that. Mars in the 8th house can trigger fears, you guys. When I had Mars going through the 8th, oh my god. Excuse me, of course, Mars, it is my planet because I'm an Aries, but still having Mars in the 8th house, nah, it's not so much fun, honestly. In my opinion, I hope you're gonna do better with it. Luckily, you are receiving like a supportive trine from Jupiter. That was not the case when I had it, so that makes it totally different. But definitely Mercury retrograde. Someone from the past may like might return. Maybe someone who owed you money is now going to return and pay you the exact sum. That is also possible. You can have a tax refund that is going to be bigger than you expected. That is also a possibility. Be careful about loss of money through a partner. That is also a possibility. But still, if that happens, it's going to be a destined lesson around shared finances. So, yeah, the deeper meaning of all of this is not to destabilize you, but to actually confront the structures within you that are actually built around defense rather than trust. Yeah, radical honesty, secrets being revealed, deep conversations about money, about commitment. You can have emotional breakthroughs in therapy, around healing, around loss, around betrayal. There can be a renegotiation around shared resources. You can also end like an unhealthy energetic attachment. So transformation is not punishment. It is actually a very big initiation here. So do not interpret like vulnerability as danger. Recognize it as like a portal to step through right now, because destiny right now asks for deeper surrender, not for stronger control. Otherwise, you're going to hit a wall. So good luck, Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, my dear fellow Virgos. Yeah, you're going to have this triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the North Node in your 7th, in your opposing sign. So rather important. Yeah, you're really going to feel the hit of this one. And it can definitely also play out in your partner's or like spouse's life. The 7th house is about other people. So you can either have like a misunderstanding with them or like a little bit of like feisty communication, but they can also like come home and tell about like the conflicts that are happening within their lives. And maybe you're going to need to guide them through, because the 7th, it is one-on-one relationships, and the South Node is actually moving through your sign. It is a period that is like especially karmic and very defining. We just had like a lunar eclipse in your sign, of course. And on August the 28th, you're going to see the last full moon lunar eclipse in the 7th house. That is going to be a very big karmic destined ending or new beginning. Full moon lunar eclipses, of course, are about endings. And by then, the North Node will already be in the 6th house. But still, that is going to be from now on until like August. The end of August is going to be very important in regards to relationships, because on the 18th you have a new moon in the 7th, and then on August the 28th a full moon lunar eclipse. The next 6 months are a very big, destined, important portal in regards to relationships for sure. And Saturn, Neptune are out of there, so yeah, let's like have a toast to that. It's going to be totally different now than it was last year. So pay attention to that and who comes into your life. If you're a single Virgo, especially female, you can have a very destined meeting with a male, Mars in the 7th, Mercury retrograde, maybe a male from the past, can even be about past lives. Definitely possibility here. So yeah, growth, it really comes through partnerships, through like the mirror of one another, and you need to focus on honesty and who's honest, and like tenderness and compassion. And Mars here adds more emotional courage within all of these themes, can also add confrontation. But Mercury retrograde, it's gonna add this like unmistakable theme of like the return of old partners, exes, old relational patterns being highlighted, unfinished business, conversations, unresolved contracts are gonna resurface, whether that is someone from this lifetime, from the past, or past lifetimes, with the sign of Pisces on the 7th house cusp. So yeah, your whole relationship zone, it is rather confusing and it's rather like unclear, sometimes imbalanced, sometimes not enough boundaries are being set. Sometimes you want to save your partners, sometimes they are in need of savior. There is a very big theme here that is getting triggered, but you've grown massively in all those regards, and all these teams with Saturn and Neptune that have been going through the 7th and have now completed the transit. So you are way better in like drawing stronger or like firm boundaries within relationships. So yeah, it's also touching like your strong self-sufficient identity versus surrendering to what's happening in your partner's life or what's happening within your life in regards to partners. You always like overfunction, you carry a lot of responsibility, you anticipate, you fix, you refine, you clean up other people's mess. And there is a lot of mess of other people with Pisces on the 7th house cusp. But definitely you need to soften the impulse to manage love, to try to perfect yourself before you receive it. You are perfect the way you are. You do not need someone you need to save in order to feel useful within your partnerships. No, you need to attract someone who is spiritually aligned, with your evolved identity. You're going through the, how do you say it? You're going through the motions with the full moon lunar eclipse, for sure. So let me know how you're doing with that. Mars is definitely gonna like intensify partnership dynamics. You're gonna draw in forceful people into your orbit. It's gonna force you to evolve existing relationships as well. And if you do not have one, someone might come in. So it is also like highlighting the story that you've been telling yourself about what you must do to be lovable, reliable, get chosen. And Virgos, you are so picky, and like with the Pisces sign on the seventh house cusp, you still succeed in picking the wrong one. I can say it as I'm also a Virgo rising, but this is definitely something that I've noticed within a lot of my client readings, within my friendships who are also Virgo rising, people who have Venus in Virgo as an example, that also all applies to them. So yeah, big turning points in love and also in business partnerships. I haven't really touched on that, but it can also play out in that. Just know that you can have also a very important message from a friend coming through on the 22nd when Mars is going to trine Jupiter in your 11th. So you might either meet someone through your friend group, a partner might become a friend might become a partner. That is also a very big possibility here. And it's going to like flow by itself. Yeah, good luck, Virgo, and let me know how you're doing with the eclipse still. We're like still in the aftermath of that. All right, Libra and Moon rising, you're gonna have the Mercury Mars North Node conjunction in your sixth. And that brings a lot of focus on daily routines, on your work habits, your physical, mental health, and the way that you actually organize your life. Think about your productivity, how you feel useful, what you do on a daily basis. And Mars and the North Node is actually telling you or showing that your destiny is shaped not only by like your grand visions and Pisces, but by actually the repeated choices and habits that you do and make every day. So your path forward requires a lot of revision with Mercury retrograde. So think about like old routines, returning up for a review, work matters from the past that are resurfacing. Maybe health issues from the past are coming up again. Your body is becoming like the messenger right now for what your mind has ignored. So yeah, something in your current structure is no longer sustainable. You need to change something in that. So where have you lived like in quiet depletion? Where have you like denied yourself certain things? Where have you sacrificed too much for other people? And I know we do it a lot, dear Libra rising. The sixth house is having Pisces there. You're so deeply sensitive towards your environment, towards your energy, towards like your emotional residue, and you guys do not belong. And a normal 9 to 5 system with Pisces on the sixth house cusp, that is almost impossible. So if you feel like you're drained and exhausted and you cannot like continue like this is going to be your chance to plant a big new seed, to really plant something new, something long term. It happens at 10 degrees here, Mercury Mars. 10 degrees is a Capricorn degree. It thinks about like long term implications. Yeah, it can be positive if you make a change right now. So Mars is really pushing you to take action around your responsibilities, your work, your healing process, and you really like now need to notice the reoccurring patterns of burnout and self-abandonment and rescue dynamics. You're realizing that your exhaustion right now, it's not like an accident or it's not like a coincidence. It is also strongly linked to the unconscious beliefs you have inherited about service and usefulness and worth. So you need to treat your routine as like the sacred architecture with Pisces on the sixth house cusp. So yeah, there's going to be a shift in workload, renewed attention to health, new healing modalities, important conversations about how you manage your time and energy. So yeah, you need to tap into a more divine, soulful daily rhythm. So good luck, my dear Libra. We have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Scorpio, you're going to have this triple conjunction of North Node, Mars, and Mercury. In your fifth, this is positive, Scorpio, together with Cancer. You are one of the signs that is going to do great with this conjunction, because Mars is, of course, your traditional chart ruler. I meant ancient. Yeah, traditional ancients is the same. Your modern day ruler is Pluto. And Pluto and Mars are both having a very big effect on you. So the fifth house, it is joy, creativity, romance, your inner child, children, the house where things get born. And it is your self-expression as well. So yeah, it is actually pretty positive here. It's going to really boost a very distant energy surrounding those themes, your creativity, pleasure, romance, and like the radiant expression of your heart receives a boost. You have been really looking at that. And it's like with the 10 degrees, the Capricorn degree, you need to install something new, something joyful, something that makes your heart sing over the long term, something that you're going to keep continually doing. Can be about a new hobby, a new passion, even can be about like passion projects from the past. Mercury retrograde can even be about memories, about like joyful moments from a past life that you can also tap into right now. It's rather interesting energy here for you, Scorpio. Let me know how you're like tapping into it, and what you're like imagining, what you're feeling, what you're seeing. I know you guys are pretty psychic, so I'm always like very interested in what you guys are having to share with me. So yeah, the North Node Mars conjunction, it's like an ignition here, and also with Mercury, that like you feel a very big call to ignite something, to feel more alive again. And aliveness built in like intensity alone, that's not going to work. You need to like root it in authenticity and joy and soulful desire that is being triggered here. So Mercury retro here as well, it's also suggesting that what returns now might be an ex, an old lover, a forgotten passion, dormant creative gift. Tap into these gifts, you guys. Tap into like the younger version of yourself who like still remembered how to like play, imagine, create, and feel very deeply without like the fear of judgment. Where have you become too strategic with your own heart? This one asks for openness, for spontaneity, and the courage to actually be witnessed and seen in your delight as much as you're feeling exposed and seen in all of your pains and the more darker side of life, Scorpio. Pisces here, it is very divine. It is about like creation that actually comes from your soul rather than like the performance that like wins approval. Mars is going to intensify a lot of the desires, especially in a romantic kind of way. And Mercury retrograde, yeah, it's revisiting actually how your story, and definitely your past story and even past life stories, how they shaped your relationship to pleasure and romance and feeling visible and taking a risk from time to time. You're very calculated. You're a control freak, Scorpio, and it's okay. I'm a Virgo rising. I'm also one. So it is what it is. But now it's really maybe taking a bit of a risk, letting yourself be seen. Do not be afraid. You're going to receive so much positive feedback. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're going to like reignite your joy in some kind of way. And let inspiration also become like a form of healing. So there can be like inspiration, artistic motivation, and deepening your connection with children. Your children might behave a little bit more feisty, and they can be careful how you speak your words to your kids right now. It is well aspected. It makes a trine to Jupiter in the ninth, but still, Mercury and Mars together, whatever, like if you scar your soul, or if your kids scar your soul now, then that can become like a lifelong thing to heal. So be careful with your words right now. It can have like a very big lasting impact either on you or on your kids. Luckily, I think it's going to be positive words of affirmations as it trines Jupiter in the ninth. So yeah, be careful about that. Let me know what happens, Scorpio. Good luck. We have Sagittarius and Moon Rising. All right, my dear Sag, you're going to have Mars, Mercury, North Node all happening in the sign of Pisces in your fourth house. It's also in a mutable sign, so it squares you by sign, and that squares may like most always indicate some kind of change. When there's friction, you need to act upon something, and here it's happening within the realms of your home. So it's the deepest basis of your chart. It is where you actually live, the house you live inside, your family, your ancestry, ancestral patterns being massively triggered here, emotional security, feeling seen, where you belong. It's your emotional landscape. Whenever Mars enters the fourth, you can get rather extremely frustrated with your family members or with your partner. It depends. But I've seen a lot of fights going on with people's mother whenever Mars travels through the fourth, and Mercury retrograde is definitely about like past conversations that are needing to like be resolved in some kind of way. Yeah. Mercury retrograde, that's a very big like return of old family themes, memories, conversations, unresolved like emotional material that is getting triggered here. Something from like the past is right, like re-entering the field. Can even be about your past life. It doesn't want to trap you, but it actually wants to show you what still like lives underneath your choices and lives underneath your inherited ancestral patterns. And it can feel frustrating being confronted with that and feeling like you're stuck and not being able to escape. A lot of you are going to want to escape your home in some kind of way with the sign of Pisces. There might be secrets being revealed from the family. There might be frustration with family members. Yeah, it is like Mars in the fourth. It can stir up some trouble. It's in an angular house. It's at the bottom of the chart. It's squaring you by sign. It can like increase a bit of tension. Now, not necessarily all needs to be that bad, but still, is your outer life like built on an inner foundation that can truly hold you? It's going to expose the tension between wanting to have freedom, Sagittarius, and the square to Pisces, feeling like stuck at home, rooted. Do you feel safe, secure with where you live? And that is like being reviewed right now massively. Sag wants to like expand the horizons, but this one is asking you to look inward and also backwards. And that is not always like easy for Sages. I feel like they're also so optimistic, so focused on the future, and they rather like sweep it under the carpet. But then when a transit triggers something massively in the fourth, like now, then there can be like, oh wow, maybe I'll need to look back a little bit in order to decide how I'm gonna move forward. And that can definitely be a theme right now. So fourth house, it is like emotions, compassion, forgiveness, ancestral healing. Mars is gonna stir a little bit of irritable feelings. There can be conflict around the home, around family members. Mercury retrograde can also bring like a reconnection with family members and even past life family members. And maybe you're reconsidering a move or a renovation, or maybe you're revisiting some childhood themes. There can also be new insights coming through into how like your early conditioning still influences your current decisions, and how that maybe is keeping you stuck in some kind of way, and how you can now have the power and the destined Martian force to break free from that. Yeah. It is not only like about your relatives or where you live or who you live with together, it's actually also about your relationship with safety itself. So honor what your emotional body is trying to save you. You might change something in your living situation. There's going to be some kind of important family conversation. There can be like a lot of renewed attention being directed into your private life and into your emotions. There can be stronger need to defend and protect your own inner peace. So true expansion that Sag loves so much, it cannot happen on like an unstable emotional ground. So Destiny, the North Node right now, is asking you to build one from like the inside out, and all that you want externally, is going to become way more possible once your inner world is no longer neglected and when your inner world is being cared for and on a stable basis. So good luck, Sag, and let me know what happens. You have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have this triple conjunction of Mars, Mercury, and the North Node all happening in your third house. The third is, of course, the house of like the mind, the voice, how you speak, your thought patterns, how you process information. That is a rather tricky one right now with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And it's also about how you express yourself, communication. It can also deal with siblings and neighbors and being on the road, like shorter distance trips. So yeah, it brings a lot of focus here with Mercury retrograde in its own house. Mercury belongs to the third house. Even if it doesn't belong to Pisces, it has a heightened manifestation here in the third right now. So how are you guys doing with this Mercury retrograde, honestly? It's also like past contracts, past writings, past conversations, the narrative through which you actually interpret reality is being rewired right now. And Mars and the North Node and Mercury, they strengthen your voice so much right now. Your words, they carry unusual force right now. And there's like enormous significance being added here with Mercury retrograde. There can be a lot of important past conversations return, old ideas that are resurfacing, a lot of misunderstandings or maybe rescheduling, demanding a lot of revision. And it's also showing how you like act or like how you like your own thought patterns and how you act upon them are coming under a review. So it's not just about saying something important, it's also about recognizing how your inner dialogue really shapes your destiny and fate here, you guys. So Capricorn, you are the sign that needs to be massively careful about sharp words. Mercury is communication, Mars is violence, aggression, frustration. On the North Node, some destined conversation is going to trigger you and your conscious mind, and you're going to need to be careful how you express yourself, because otherwise you might have like, you might need ample of time to really fix what you've said. What you're about to say, it cannot be undone. It cannot be unsaid. Be careful, you guys. Your words hold a lot of power and a lot of Martian energy, and become softer, more compassionate with the sign of Pisces. That is actually a real destiny, but you're gonna get some kind of test in those regards. Yeah, Capricorn, it wants clarity and also control. You're just like Scorpio and Virgo, a rather controlling sign, but that's okay. You have like all your ducks in a row, and a lot of people can learn a lot about that, honestly. So I'm not bashing that in any kind of way, but Mars, it's going to make your communication so sharp. And Pisces here, your mind works and like in a very mysterious, compassionate kind of way. And you need to like practice ambiguity without becoming too afraid here. Mars can stir a little bit of like fire into your watery mind and can feel like heated thought patterns, overthinking. Be careful. Mercury retrograde can be about overthinking. Mercury belongs to Virgo and also Gemini. That is about the facts. Virgo can be about stress and overthinking about certain things you've said or haven't said. That is definitely also a possibility here. So yeah, perhaps you've been telling yourself a story that is too small, too narrow, too rigid, too harsh, too outdated for the person that you actually already are becoming, the beautiful person that you are. So speak with consciousness, but also listen. Listen beneath like the literal meaning of the words, because you're going to have important reconnections. You might also teach something important and say something very important during your teachings. Third house is also blogging, podcasting, social media, your email list, all of that belongs to that. So yeah, take some more attention towards that. Good luck, Capricorn. We have Aquarius and Moon or Rising. All right, Aquarius, you're going to have the Mars-Mercury North Node conjunction happening in your second house of finances, money, self-worth, values, possessions. All of that belongs to the second house. So yeah, it is the area of your personal resources here, you guys, and you have been massively reviewing that with the Mercury retrograde. You've been looking at your income, your possessions, your self-worth, the value, actually all the values upon which you build your life. So Mars and the North Node here, your destiny is very strongly intertwined with learning to claim what is yours on a material level, energetic level, and psychological level. Develop your skills and talents. Maybe you need to set higher standards, higher prices. Maybe you can get a higher income, a higher raise. Mercury retrograde is definitely bringing old like financial teams back for a review. Conversations about money that are unfinished, your own forgotten skills and how you can like monetize them, former streams of income, beliefs about like your scarcity mindset and how that actually shapes your choices more than you realized. So it's not only about how you earn, it's actually also about what you believe you deserve. Yeah, you can stand up for yourself. You need to stand in your self-worth. You need to be really embodying all of those traits in a very positive way. You are actually like the architecture of like your own value inside of yourself. And Aquarius sometimes can be a little bit detached from like emotional needs, but having Pisces here, it asks you to really become more intimate with what genuinely nourishes you, who makes you feel sensual, who makes you feel like secure, what makes you feel secure, which talents can you like hone into that are going to make you more secure. Mars in the second can give a warning for impulsive spending. Some of you are going to feel like a void that you want to fill in the sign of Pisces. Be careful where you spend your money. Mercury retrograde, if you buy something big right now, make sure you keep the receipts. There might be something wrong with it. It might be broken. Mars can sometimes mean loss in the second house. Mercury retrograde is maybe returning some of the things. There can also be an unexpected bill coming through, or maybe something from the past that you now need to pay. That is also a possibility here. So yeah, Mars, it also brings like a lot of urgency around money, possessions, and Mercury reveals like how all of your old narratives about like inadequacy and dependence and like your usefulness, how that like still influences your decisions. So it's like rediscovering this deep inner issue of feeling like you do not simply have enough of what you want, but looking through the emotional lens, then through which you actually measure what is enough for you, something being changed in that. So this is about like soulful validation. So look at your old talents, renegotiate money matters, reclaim your confidence in your own gifts, and understand that the abundance is actually deeply linked to self permission and believing in oneself. So, yeah, your destiny. It's gonna grow so much stronger when you stop like outsourcing your value to other people's recognition and what you have, and also especially what you have to offer is going to become way more potent the moment you realize and truly stand behind it. So good luck, Aquarius. We have Pisces and Moon Rising. All right, Pisces, you're the star of today's show yet again. So yeah, we have this triple conjunction of North Node, Mars, and Mercury all within your first house, within your sign. This is a pretty big deal, you guys. So yeah, having this triple conjunction in your sign, it makes you like the vessel through which like this karmic storyline is unfolding most directly, most strongly. Mars North Node, yeah, in your sign, it is like summoning you to become this new spiritual warrior and revealing all of like the lost hidden ancient information and the truths and like lost knowledge and secrets. And the veil is getting so thin around these days, you guys, because on the 20th we are having the equinox. So you might have so many revelations in your own life, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But still, this is for the best. It is destined by the gods, by the North Node. So yeah, it's not going to be subtle in meaning. It might be a little bit more subtle in timing, but this like a new identity initiation. And Mercury retrograde, yeah, it's like reviewing, revising old versions of yourself, all the formal labels you've put on yourself. Look at all the long lost previous dreams. personal chapters that feel unfinished. Now you're like wrapping them up, and relationship dynamics that actually once defined you and how you felt and how your identity came forward, all of that might reappear so that you can actually clearly see who you are now. And maybe you need to make a shift, maybe within your partnerships as well. You just had a full moon lunar eclipse in the 7th, and now this stellium in your sign opposes the 7th. It squares the 10th, it squares the 4th, it affects the entire stability of like the basis of your chart. Everything is changing right now. So destiny is not occurring inside of you, of course partly is, but it's actually been like reorganizing you from within right now. So yeah, it can be empowering, but some of you are going to feel a little bit disoriented. Be careful with what you say. Your spiritual warriorness is being massively kicked off here, and Mercury conjunct Mars can be about sharp words. You need to be careful with what you say. You're going to have some very big important conversation, most likely with a neighbor, a sibling, one younger than you, an important male in your life. Your energy is definitely heightened. And if you're a male, you can have like more attraction from other females as well, because Mars is like boosting your masculinity. Mercury retrograde, partner from the past, full moon lunar eclipse in the 7th can definitely indicate that next coming forward, wanting to have closure. Someone you've been with for like a very long time, or maybe you're severing, cutting ties. Also something from within the home can change. Mercury rules over your 4th house, and it also rules over your 7th house. You might decide to split up. You might decide to embark on your own path with Mars conjunct the North Node. You might finally feel the strength to do it. And it's going to work out. It is destiny right now. Others of you are going to meet someone new, important, in which you can then like decide to live together with. That is also a possibility. But definitely very, very big emphasis here on finances, how you split finances, shared resources, how you live with together, who you live with together, and how that's actually been like, how do you say it? Damn, I'm forgetting it. How that's actually been like affecting you and your identity. And maybe you want something completely new right now while the universe is giving you the green light, you guys. Venus in the 2nd house. Venus rules over the 8th. Big emphasis on your own money, shared resources. Mercury rules over the 4th house of home and family, the 7th house of partnerships. Woo! Some of you Pisces are going to break up, or already have been breaking up, with Venus on top of Saturn and Neptune here on your chart ruler. And all of it is going to be for the best, Pisces. Jupiter gestation direct in your 5th house of romance, and it's trining this whole Pisces stellium. It's going to trine Mars on the 22nd of March. Some of you are already in a relationship, are breaking up, are dividing the goods, are divorcing in some kind of way because someone new is entering your life with Jupiter in the 5th. Or either you're taking your relationship to the next level and you decide to move in with one another. That is also a very big theme. But either way, your identity is being reformed. And with that also comes like a change in your career, your home life. Like all the things are getting massively affected. So let me know how you guys are doing and what's changing. Yeah, you're shape-shifting. That is like a word that strongly comes up right now. Do not avoid conflict, but do not go on the attack. There's definitely a very big change going on here for you guys. You might even have like a change in appearance or how you present yourself. You might have like renewed courage with Mars in your sign. There's like a decisive identity shift, and that comes with like a personal announcement or a return of an old ambition. And also with that comes like important conversations that are going to clarify who you are becoming and what the direction you want to take next. So, yeah, the truth is unfolding, you guys. I'm like very curious what happens for you. Let me know what that is. Good luck, Pisces. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in with me today. If you're still here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, I will be seeing you back soon for the new moon in Pisces. So hit the bell button below if you want to receive a notification in regards to these new cosmic updates that I've got prepared for all of you. So thank you all so much. I'm wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.